You've been told to want it more, think harder, visualize longer, push the universe until it answers. But what if the chase is the lock? The moment you say, "I need this," you stamp your reality with "not yet." Every scroll, every affirmation spoken with urgency, every timeline you grip tight becomes a signal that you're still waiting. Manifestation doesn't fail from weak intention, it stalls under heavy attachment. So here's the shift: stop feeding the gap between now and what you want. Choose the frequency of receiving, steady breath, open hands, and room for arrival. If you can release the grip, the scene changes faster than any force you apply. In the realm of quantum manifestation, the relationship between desire and manifestation often seems paradoxical. Desire is often seen as the fuel that propels our intentions into reality. It's the spark that ignites the journey toward achieving our goals. Yet, there is a hidden layer within this simple equation, something that we don't always consider, that can unintentionally slow down or even block the manifestation process. The very desire we think will manifest our dreams. At first glance, it may seem illogical to say that desire could hold back manifestation. After all, isn't desire supposed to be the driving force behind our actions and intentions? But what if we've been approaching desire from the wrong angle? What if our desire, rather than being an energetic match to our manifestations, is actually creating a dissonance that prevents us from aligning with the reality we truly want? To understand this, we must first explore the nature of desire itself. Desire, in its purest form, is not inherently negative. It is an energy that reflects our longing for expansion, growth, and the fulfillment of our soul's purpose. However, the way we relate to desire often shifts its energy from a natural expression of expansion into something more rooted in scarcity and lack. Imagine for a moment that you desire something deeply, whether it's a career change, a loving relationship, or financial abundance. Now, what is it that you feel when you focus on that desire? For many, the feeling is not one of calm expectancy but one of urgency, of something still missing, or of longing for something that is not yet here. This emotional undertone reflects an underlying belief that something is lacking in your life, that your current reality is not enough without the fulfillment of that desire. The energy behind the desire, rather than being grounded in the knowing that you are whole and worthy, is rooted in a perception of emptiness or lack. This is where the first block to manifestation appears. When we experience a desire that is fueled by the belief that we lack something, we inadvertently place ourselves in a state of resistance. Quantum physics tells us that that we attract energies that resonate with our frequency. If we are vibrating at a frequency of lack, that is exactly what we will continue to attract, even if our conscious mind is focused on what we want. In other words, the very desire we hold for abundance, love, or success is infused with an energy that is in direct contrast to the abundant reality we are trying to create. This dynamic can be understood through the concept of attachment. Attachment to desires creates a gravitational pull toward them, but it's not a healthy pull. It's one based on fear, on the idea that we cannot be complete without them. Think about it. When we deeply desire something, we often become attached to the outcome, fixating on how and when it will manifest. This attachment can take many forms: obsessive thoughts, overanalysis, or even self-imposed pressure to make it happen. This mental and emotional attachment not only distorts our energy but also locks us into a state of resistance. Attachment itself is a reflection of the ego's desire for control. The ego thrives on certainty and attachment to the material world. It seeks to grasp tightly onto the illusion of what it believes will bring happiness, satisfaction, or validation. But this attachment is the very thing that keeps us from receiving our desires. The more we hold on tightly to an outcome, the more we create a dissonance between where we are now and where we want to be. We begin to focus more on the absence of what we desire, which perpetuates a state of lack and pushes the very thing we want further away. This is why so many people find themselves stuck in cycles of manifestation frustration. They set intentions, focus on their desires, and take action, yet the desired outcome feels perpetually out of reach. They may wonder, why isn't it working? Why isn't it showing up for me? The truth is that their desire, instead of becoming a clear channel for manifestation, has become a tangled web of attachment, fear, and expectation, blocking the natural flow of energy that would allow their reality to shift. This brings us to the crux of the issue. The key to manifestation is not in desiring more or working harder to obtain our goals. The key lies in the willingness to let go of attachment. When we shift from a mindset of "I want this" to "I am open to receiving this," we remove the energetic block that desire often creates. The energy of open receiving is different from the energy of grasping. When we let go of the need for things to look a certain way, when we release the desperation or urgency, We create space for our desires to flow toward us effortlessly. In the practice of quantum manifestation, the energy of the observer plays a critical role. As the observer of your reality, you have the power to shift the lens through which you view your desires. When you observe your desires with detachment, not as something you desperately need to complete yourself, but as something that naturally belongs to you in the fullness of time, you align yourself with the flow of the universe. This is where the paradox begins to make sense. Your desires are already a part of you. They exist in the quantum field, ready to be activated, but they can only come into your experience when you release the attachment to them. There is a deeper truth embedded in this concept. You are whole, complete, and abundant as you are. Your desires are simply expressions of this inherent wholeness. When you recognize this truth, the need for constant striving or seeking fades away, and the energy of manifestation becomes a natural, effortless process. You no longer chase after what you desire because you know that, in the vastness of the quantum field, everything that aligns with your highest self is already within reach. So, how can you begin to release the resistance that your desires may be creating? The first step is self-awareness. Begin by observing your desires without judgment. Are you attaching any feelings of lack, unworthiness, or urgency to them? Are you placing your happiness on hold until you achieve them? These are the subtle signs of attachment, and they are the first step in understanding where your energy may be misaligned. Once you identify these patterns, you can begin to shift them. A simple yet powerful technique is to practice detachment through mindfulness and presence. When you focus on the present moment rather than constantly fixating on the future outcome, you create space for your desires to flow toward you. You can also use affirmations and visualizations that reinforce your worthiness and the belief that your desires are already on their way. The key is to move from a place of neediness to a place of knowingness, from striving to allowing. Manifestation is not about chasing after your desires. It's about aligning with them and opening yourself to receive them. When you let go of the attachment to the outcome, you free yourself from the energetic resistance that has been slowing down the manifestation process. You become a clear channel for your desires to materialize effortlessly, in their own time and in their own way. The more you practice releasing attachment to your desires, the more you will see how effortlessly things begin to flow into your life. The beauty of quantum manifestation lies in its paradox. The less you try to control, the more you attract. When you release your attachment to how and when things show up, you make space for the universe to work its magic. The process becomes less about desire and more about alignment, less about wanting and more about receiving. Ultimately, the key to unlocking the power of desire and manifestation is understanding that desire itself is not the problem. It's our attachment to the outcome, our need to control the how and when, that creates resistance. When you can detach from the outcome and allow your desires to unfold naturally, you step into the true power of manifestation, one that flows from a place of inner alignment, trust, and openness. When we think of attachment, we often imagine it as an emotional bond that ties us to a person or a thing, something we desire but feel we cannot live without. In the context of manifestation, attachment can manifest in many subtle and unconscious ways. It isn't just about holding on to people or objects. It's about holding on to an idea, a belief, or a vision of how things should be. The very desire we feel for something, whether it's a new job, a perfect relationship, or financial abundance, often comes with an unconscious attachment to the outcome, and it's this attachment that becomes the root cause of resistance in our manifestation process. At the heart of attachment is the fear of not having, or the belief that we are incomplete without something external. If you are attached to a certain outcome, it implies that you're relying on that outcome to fulfill something within you. The moment you believe that you need something to feel whole or worthy, you've created a gap between your current state and the state you wish to manifest. This gap is not just a mental construct. It's an energetic imbalance that holds you back from aligning with the reality you want to create. Attachment is, in many ways, a reflection of the ego. The ego thrives on control, certainty, and validation. It wants to hold on to the things it perceives as important because they provide a sense of security and identity. But when we attach ourselves to an outcome or desire, we are allowing the ego to dictate the terms of our manifestation. This attachment creates a distortion in the energetic field, pulling us away from our true nature and aligning us with fear-based thinking. It shifts our focus from the present moment and moves it to the future, to something we don't yet have but desperately want. This imbalance between the present moment and the desired future creates a form of resistance, an energetic tug-of-war that pushes away what we desire rather than drawing it in. To understand the effect of attachment on manifestation, it's helpful to break it down into its core components. Attachment doesn't just occur when we think about a specific person or object. It also occurs when we fixate on a particular outcome or timeline. Imagine setting an intention to manifest a promotion at work. The desire for this promotion is not inherently harmful, it's a healthy aspiration for growth. However, if you become attached to the idea of getting that promotion in a specific time frame, or if you place all your happiness and self-worth on receiving that promotion, you're unknowingly creating resistance. The universe doesn't operate on a schedule, and neither should your manifestation process. When you fixate on a specific outcome, you are also narrowing your focus, essentially telling the universe how things must unfold. This creates a dissonance between your desire and the universe's ability to bring it to you in the highest possible way. This is where the shift from desire to attachment becomes important. Desire, in its purest form, is an energy of expansion and growth. It's an expression of your true self seeking more, desiring to align with a higher version of yourself. But once you become attached to that desire, it stops being about expansion and starts being about needing. Neediness, by its very nature, comes from a place of lack. The moment you need something to feel fulfilled or complete, you've created an energetic misalignment. You are focusing on the absence of the desired thing, not the fulfillment of it. Attachment also stems from a deep-rooted belief in scarcity. We often think that there is not enough love, not enough money, not enough time to have everything we want. This scarcity mindset fuels our attachment to the things we desire because we fear that if we don't grasp onto them, we will lose out or never experience them. In this mindset, everything becomes a race, a competition against time, circumstances, and other people. This fear of missing out or not having enough keeps us stuck in a cycle of wanting without receiving, of striving without arriving. Furthermore, attachment is often linked to our identities. When we attach ourselves to a desire, we sometimes attach our sense of self-worth to the fulfillment of that desire. This could be anything from a career achievement to a romantic relationship. If you place your identity in the outcome, you're essentially giving away your power. You're saying that who you are and what you are worthy of is dependent on something external. The problem with this is that it's not sustainable. The universe doesn't work in a linear, conditional way where your value is determined by your achievements or possessions. True worth is inherent. It comes from within. When you attach your sense of worth to external outcomes, you place yourself in a perpetual cycle of striving, never fully feeling that you've arrived. When you're in the throes of attachment, you're also feeding into the fear of not being enough. It's this fear that creates the emotional charge behind your desires. For example, if you're attached to the idea of achieving financial success, that desire may stem from a belief that you are not enough unless you have a certain level of wealth. If you're attached to a romantic partner, it may come from the belief that you are not whole unless someone else validates you. This belief in inadequacy keeps you locked in a loop of needing rather than allowing. You chase after external validation, not realizing that true fulfillment comes from recognizing your own inherent worth. The key to breaking free from attachment lies in shifting your mindset from one of neediness to one of acceptance and openness. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation, it means releasing the need for a specific outcome. It means recognizing that everything you desire is already available to you in the quantum field, waiting to be aligned with your frequency. The process of manifestation becomes much more fluid when you release attachment and step into a space of trust and surrender. When you trust that the universe has your best interests at heart and that everything is unfolding in divine timing, the need to control or rush disappears. One of the most powerful ways to release attachment is through the practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness helps you become aware of the present moment, detaching from the anxiety and worry of the future. When you practice mindfulness, you train yourself to observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment, allowing them to pass through you without clinging to them. This practice teaches you that your desires, while important, do not define your sense of self. Your sense of self comes from within, from your connection to your higher self and your awareness of your inherent worth. Another effective practice for releasing attachment is through gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance. It's a powerful way to recognize that you already have everything you need to create the reality you desire. When you focus on what you already have, rather than what you lack, you naturally begin to attract more of what you desire into your life. This shift in perspective releases the energetic charge of attachment and opens the door for manifestations to flow naturally. Ultimately, releasing attachment is about returning to the present moment and recognizing that everything you desire is already part of you. When you stop chasing after outcomes, you stop feeding into the scarcity mindset. You begin to see that there is enough for everyone, and that you are always in the right place at the right time. The universe is not withholding anything from you. It's simply waiting for you to align with the flow of abundance and trust that what you desire will come to you when you are ready to receive it. In the end, attachment creates a barrier between you and your manifestations. It is only when you release this attachment and allow the universe to work on your behalf that your desires can come to fruition. This is the true power of manifestation, not in the act of wanting but in the act of receiving. When you let go of attachment, you free yourself to experience the flow of abundance that is always available to you. At the core of why desire slows down manifestation lies a hidden truth. Often, our deepest desires are not born out of pure wanting, but out of an internal belief that something is missing from our lives. The energy behind a desire is critical because it determines how we vibrate in the quantum field. In simple terms, the stronger our attachment to the idea of not having, the more we reinforce that very energy of lack, which ultimately pushes the manifestation further away. This is the subtle, often unnoticed, interplay between desire and the belief in scarcity that acts as a powerful block in our manifestation process. When we desire something, we are often unconsciously revealing a deeper belief about ourselves or the world. At first glance, it may seem that we are simply wishing for something tangible like more money, a new relationship, or a successful career. But beneath that surface desire lies an underlying belief about lack. For example, if you desire financial abundance, the desire itself is often rooted in a belief that you are not enough in your current state, that you need more money to feel secure or validated. Similarly, the desire for a romantic partner often arises from an internal belief that you are incomplete without love, that you are somehow less whole than you would be with someone by your side. The problem with this dynamic is that desire, when coupled with the belief in lack, perpetuates the very state of being that blocks manifestation. It's not the desire itself that slows things down, but the energy of lack that is often embedded within it. Quantum physics shows us that like attracts like, meaning that the energy we project out into the world is the energy we receive back. When we focus on what we don't have, we energetically align ourselves with a state of not having, and we attract more experiences that mirror this feeling of emptiness. This creates a paradox where the more we desire something out of a sense of lack, the more we reinforce the absence of it in our lives. This dynamic becomes clearer when we consider how deeply ingrained these beliefs are. Most of us are not consciously aware that we are operating from a belief in lack, simply because we have been conditioned to think this way for so long. We are raised in a world that often measures success and worth by external accomplishments, wealth, relationships, status, and material possessions. From an early age, we are taught that we need more in order to feel complete, and this mindset permeates every area of our lives. Whether it's the belief that we need to be financially secure to feel at peace or the idea that we need a partner to feel worthy, we subconsciously adopt the belief that we are incomplete without certain things. This belief in lack is not just a thought pattern, it is a deeply ingrained energetic frequency that we emit into the world. Think about it. When you feel like you are not enough or that something is missing from your life, how does it make you feel? Often, it generates feelings of anxiety, insecurity, and fear. These are not high vibrational emotions. They are rooted in a state of survival, of trying to protect oneself from perceived threats. And when you emit these lower frequency emotions into the quantum field, you attract experiences that match that energy. This is why no matter how much you desire something, if you continue to hold the belief that you are not enough without it, you will continue to attract situations that mirror this sense of inadequacy. The key to shifting this dynamic lies in understanding the true nature of your desires. Desires are not inherently negative or wrong. They are simply a reflection of your higher self wanting to expand and evolve. But the way we approach these desires makes all the difference. When you approach your desires from a place of knowingness, rather than a place of need, you begin to shift your energy in a way that aligns with your highest good. This is where the concept of abundance comes in. Abundance is not just about having more of something in a material sense. It's about understanding that everything you need is already available to you in the quantum field, waiting for you to align with it. When you desire something from a place of abundance, it means that you are already whole, already complete, and that the desire is simply an extension of your natural evolution. You no longer see your desires as a way to fill an internal void, but as a reflection of your growth, your expansion, and your potential. This shift in perception changes the energy behind your desires and transforms them into a powerful force for manifestation. Rather than attracting more lack into your life, you align yourself with the energy of abundance and openness, and as a result, the things you desire begin to flow toward you effortlessly. One of the most powerful ways to begin this shift is by addressing the underlying beliefs that fuel the desire in the first place. When you feel a deep yearning for something, whether it's money, love, or success, ask yourself, what belief is this desire rooted in? Is it rooted in a belief that you are not enough without it? Is it based on the idea that you need it to feel secure or validated? Often, these beliefs are unconscious and we have internalized them so deeply that they feel like absolute truths. But once you bring them into conscious awareness, you can begin to shift them. A helpful practice to start this process is to work with affirmations that counter the belief in lack. For example, if you desire more money, instead of focusing on the need for money, affirm statements like, "I am worthy of abundance," or "I am already rich in every area of my life." These affirmations help to shift your energetic frequency from one of lack to one of abundance. They remind you that abundance is not something that you must strive for or chase after, but something that already exists within you. Another practice is to focus on gratitude. Gratitude is a high vibrational emotion that shifts your energy from focusing on what you don't have to appreciating what you already have. When you cultivate a sense of gratitude, you begin to see the abundance that is already present in your life, whether it's the love of family and friends, your health, or the opportunities that are available to you. Gratitude opens your heart and aligns you with the energy of the universe, which is always abundant and ready to flow toward you. Once you begin to shift your beliefs around lack and scarcity, you'll find that your desires no longer feel like desperate needs. Instead, they become expressions of your true self, an extension of your natural evolution. As you release the belief in lack, you'll begin to attract experiences that reflect the abundance and wholeness you now embody. Your desires will no longer be a source of frustration or longing, but a source of inspiration and excitement, because you'll know that they are already on their way to you, in their perfect form and timing. When you realize that your desires are a reflection of the infinite potential within you, you start to see that you don't need to make things happen. Instead, you align with the flow of the universe, and the things you desire come to you effortlessly. The paradox of manifestation is that the more you release the belief that you lack something, the more your desires begin to materialize. As you align with your highest self and the energy of abundance, you naturally become a magnet for everything you desire. This shift from lack to abundance is the key to unlocking the power of manifestation. It's not about forcing your desires into existence. It's about letting go of the internal blocks that keep you from receiving them. Once you do that, you'll find that the universe has been waiting for you to step into your true power all along, and everything you desire will flow to you with ease and grace. The journey from attachment to alignment is one of the most profound shifts a person can make in their manifestation practice. It is the realization that manifestation is not a matter of force or struggle, but a process of becoming more attuned to your true self, more in tune with the flow of the universe, and more receptive to the abundance that is already available to you. The essence of alignment lies in releasing the need to control outcomes, and instead, allowing yourself to be guided by your highest self, which is already aligned with the desires that are meant for you. When you step into alignment, you move away from the constant striving and mental effort that often accompanies desire. Alignment is not about chasing after your desires or obsessing over their fulfillment. It is about trusting that the things you desire are already on their way, and that your role is simply to be in harmony with the natural flow of the universe. This is a state of surrender, not surrender in the sense of giving up, but surrender in the sense of releasing the need for control. To align with your desires, you must first clear the mental and emotional blocks that keep you attached to them. These blocks often arise from limiting beliefs, fears, and old programming that tell you that you are not worthy or capable of receiving what you desire. When you are able to release these blocks, you create space for your desires to enter your life effortlessly. This process requires self-awareness and a willingness to be present with the discomfort that may arise as you begin to let go of control. One of the most powerful ways to align with your desires is through the practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness brings you into the present moment, where you can experience the fullness of your life as it is, rather than constantly looking ahead to what you don't yet have. In the present moment, there is no lack, no yearning, no need. There is simply peace, and it is from this place of peace that manifestation naturally flows.